It sounds crazy to say out loud, but Black Ops 6 has been out for over a month, and with a new Treyarch Call of Duty, naturally, there are expectations for zombies to be great. At its peak, Call of Duty Zombies is one of the most beloved parts of a Treyarch title, but I think it's safe to say that for a while, zombies in Call of Duty has been anything but peak. For that reason, my expectations for Black Ops 6 Zombies were really low, and early gameplay confirmed to me that it just wasn't the classic zombies that I and many others grew up loving. But a weird thing happened when I finally played it. I got hooked and it was actually a lot of fun. In fact, the reason this video took so long is because I've been playing so much Black Ops 6 Zombies. Even as I enjoyed it though, there was a lot about this newest iteration of Zombies that just made it feel different, and I'd even say not like CoD Zombies. That's not necessarily a bad thing, and this isn't the first time the community has felt this way, but Black Ops 6 Zombies has continued where Cold War left off and straying further from classic zombies in a way that harms the identity and core of the game mode. So there are only two explanations for this. Either Treyarch doesn't know how to make zombies anymore, or this was all by design. Spoiler alert, it's by design. Treyarch didn't forget how to make classic zombies, they just chose to leave it behind. Let me explain. I can't stress enough how important it was to the future of Call of Duty Zombies as a whole that this game would be a success. Treyarch no doubt realized that and did a lot of things I really like in an effort to please everybody. And if this poll I ran last week was accurate, I'd say a near 84% success rate is pretty good. So let me just get all the good stuff out of the way first. In what's probably the most successful example of fan backlash since the original Sonic movie Sonic design, they brought back round-based zombies. Objective-based zombies was interesting, but it was too far removed from the identity of CoD Zombies. I also really like that they made a map for casuals and a map for experienced fans. Liberty Falls is a fun map whether it's your first Zombies map ever or if you've been playing since 2008. Terminus, on the other hand, does a good job of recapturing that elusive zombies aura that fans, including myself, have been craving, and it has an awesome boss fight that rivals anything from Treyarch Zombies. Both maps include directed mode, which takes players through the respective Easter eggs step by step, capping the round count if players haven't completed a specific step yet. I think it's a net positive that new or inexperienced players can see a whole new side of zombies that they maybe couldn't have done in regular survival. One of the best parts of Black Ops 6 Zombies when you compare it to the older Zombies titles is the progression outside of the maps themselves. A Zombies exclusive camo grind returns and has seen Zombies players and other parts of the CoD community grinding to get it for themselves, but I think one of the coolest things in Black Ops 6 is the augment system. In my opinion, it's done way better than the skills in Cold War, and I've spent a lot of time mixing and matching my augments to see what works the best or is just the most chaotic fun. Before I get into my critiques of the game, I want to stress that this isn't just an old man yells at cloud video, where I say that Black Ops 6 has no aura and Origins or Kino will always be better. I try to approach my critiques from a game design perspective because I believe Classic Zombies was a masterclass in game design. There's a ton more I do love about Black Ops 6 Zombies so far, but I can't list them all in this video. It is literally a direct sequel to Cold War Zombies, and it definitely feels that way. If you like Cold War Zombies, of which many people outside of the Classic Zombies community do, you'll love Black Ops 6. Speaking of Cold War, remember how easy it was? That was one of the biggest complaints. People have said that reaching round 100 on Cold War is the equivalent to reaching round 25 or 30 on Black Ops 1. And I'm not sure how true that is, but I can definitely say that up to that point, Cold War was the easiest CoD Zombies game there was. These concerns needed to be addressed in Black Ops 6, and I'd say they were. Black Ops 6 isn't as difficult as say, Black Ops 1, but it's definitely more of a challenge than Cold War was. Sadly though, this is one of those areas of the game where problems start to arise. You may have heard the term artificial difficulty being thrown around the Zombies community in reference to Black Ops 6, but what does that really mean? Isn't all video game difficulty artificial? Well, yeah, all games inherently have artificial difficulty in the sense that their challenges are created by designers, and games aren't real life. But when people complain about artificial difficulty in Black Ops 6, they're criticizing it for having cheap methods of making the game seem harder than it really is. Let's talk about mini-boss spam. When you spawn in Black Ops 6 with your fully customized loadout, already with one armor plate equipped, you might find yourself thinking, man, this game is pretty easy, and you'd be entirely right. This is one of the easiest CoD Zombies games rounds 1 to 30, but then it happens. Anyone that's played Black Ops 6 Zombies knows that after round 30, the mini-boss spam is miserable. Still though, Black Ops 6 isn't difficult. The Mangler and Amalgam spam just makes it tedious. Classic Zombies had bosses that showed off great game design by disempowering the player rather than overwhelming them with numbers. The one that immediately comes to mind for me is George Romero on Call of the Dead. All the way back on Black Ops 1, George Romero, who's responsible for creating the modern zombie in pop culture, how sick is that, is featured as an always present threat to the player and had an ungodly amount of health. George will slowly march toward you with a gravity hammer from Halo for the entirety of the game, and once he gets close enough, he attacks you. It's easy enough to avoid him, but if a stray bullet accidentally leaves your horde and hits George, he's running at you like you owe him money. Luckily, whenever he goes crazy, you can always calm or slow him down by bringing him into the icy pools of water around the map. I think George works really well as a source of disempowerment for the player. He's a persistent presence who's easy enough to manage, but can clog up your more difficult to manage horde. And if you get careless, he could ruin your run altogether. Knowing how to manage and calm him comes down to map knowledge and rewards the player for understanding his mechanics. Since George requires a crazy amount of firepower to kill, especially if you're in a lobby with others, the player is sufficiently rewarded with a free perk and power-up. And if you beat the Easter egg, George will drop power-ups that give you a temporary Wonder Waff. There's so many other examples of disempowerment in classic zombies like the Panzer, the Monkeys on Ascension in Shangri-La, the Shrieker, the Napalm Zombie, the Cosmonaut on Moon, and even non-boss challenges like the Excavators on Moon and the Generators on Origins. I wish Treyarch took a lesson from their past to inform the increase in difficulty for Black Ops 6, because after a certain round, training is incredibly annoying because of the sheer number of manglers shooting their heat-seeking blasts at you. That mixed in with the super spinners means that BO6 has effectively killed an entire playstyle and forced the player to camp if they want high rounds. Slowly since Black Ops 4 and Cold War, Treyarch has figured out exactly how to make zombies even more brain dead than it was when it was just running around in circles. I liked running around in circles. I'm not saying hoarding or training was the most mechanically skillful thing in any video game, it's definitely not, but it's way more fun and active than high round methods in Black Ops 6. Plus, there was a certain finesse you had to have on maps that don't have football fields worth of open space. But unfortunately, the oversimplification in Black Ops 6 doesn't end with forced playstyles. Another core aspect of zombies that's been fundamentally altered is the progression system. The first thing you said as you played Black Ops 6 Zombies for the first time was probably, "Really? I don't have enough points for that?" I barely played Black Ops 4 and Cold War Zombies outside of their launch month, so I wasn't really familiar with the new score system in Black Ops 6. BO6 has a points per kill system. 90 points for a body kill, 105 for melee, and 115 for a headshot kill. The system is definitely simple, but I feel like it removes a lot of the depth from a game of zombies. From World at War to Black Ops 3, every shot landed on a zombie was 10 points, every lethal shot was 50 to 70-ish, lethal headshots were 100, and lethal melees were 130. And I feel like it all made sense. You gained score for damaging the zombies, and with a headshot kill being 100 points, you were rewarded for accuracy. The melee kill being worth the most points makes complete sense because it's the most risky type of kill, especially in World at War to BO2. It used to be so embarrassing going for a knife on an early round and getting quickly double swiped to end your game on big round 3. But melee kills being worth more also just made some people play differently. I can play Kino with my brother today, and he'll buy the Bowie knife and melee all the zombies until round 9. I'm the same way with Gavel Knuckles on BO2. Systems like this made different playstyles or approaches common, and nerfing them just makes everyone play the same. How you spent those early rounds in classic zombies used to determine exactly how you would progress. Maybe you maximized points by shooting the zombies in the leg a bunch before knifing, or maybe you're one of those guys in co-op games that opens the first door, knowing the second one is more expensive. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention this, but you could rebuild barriers in classic zombies to get 10 points per board, thanks. I had to ask myself why they would change the score system if it worked so well in the old games. Well, Associate Director at Treyarch, Kevin Drew, said in 2022 that it's because his brother was playing a public match in BO3 and got shouted at for killing zombies the wrong way, and he never played again. He was just trying to kill zombies fast, and the system was punishing him for it. This is among other reasons. I'm all for accessibility, but was the old point system really that difficult to learn? I feel like it was fairly self-explanatory. Why is it bad to have a perceived wrong way to kill zombies? That's just strategy. If you kill zombies quickly without any thought, you get less points. You trade off power and place your shots well, you gain more points. Simplifying the game by removing strategy and leaving only one easy, user-friendly way to complete a task can actually harm the experience. Sometimes I'm a little stupid, but I don't like to be ignorant, so I read thousands of comments on the CoD Zombies subreddit and YouTube to get both sides of the argument for the hit-based system versus the kill-based system. The objective truth that you have to face is that neither system is perfect, but I lean more towards the old hit-based system. Many of the problems with Black Ops 6 are with the progression that's been a part of Zombies since the start, like the point system. But the real problem is how BO6 treats progression as a whole. Treyarch has shifted the focus away from building yourself up over the course of a match to leaning into a power fantasy. In March of 2009, Verrucht was released on World at War as part of Map Pack 1, where Treyarch introduced 4 perks for the player to buy to get to higher rounds than were thought possible before. Quick Revive to revive teammates faster, Speed Cola to reload faster, Double Tap to shoot faster, and Juggernog for more health. To a lot of players, it helped give more of a sense of progression to Zombies. Get a bunch of points and buy all the perks, now you're as powerful as possible. By the time DLC 1 on Black Ops 1 was released though, things were a little more complicated. 2 new perks were introduced on Ascension, PhD Flopper and Stamina, which meant that there was more of a variety of choices for the player to make. For solo players, Quick Revive now revived you if you went down up to 3 times a game. So especially if you played Zombies solo, you had multiple branches of choice to decide how you wanted to progress because there was a perk limit. Despite there now being 6 perks on this map, you could only hold 4 at a time, unless of course you knew how to defend the perk machines against Cosmonaut Space Monkeys. CoD Zombies, man. By the time you're ready for your 4th perk, you likely already have Jug, Quick Revive, and Speed Cola, but now there were 3 paths you could take to decide how the rest of your game went. Maybe you wanted to stay with Double Tap to tear through the hordes faster, but it might drain your ammo faster. PhD is pretty useful if you have a ray gun or Mustang and Sally because you take 0 splash damage, and you can also dolphin dive off of high places to explode the horde once you hit the ground. But on a map like Ascension, you probably want the 7% faster sprint speed and higher sprint endurance that you get from Stamina. The point is, in classic Zombies, the 4 perk limit forces you to make meaningful choices as part of your progression and survival. But in Black Ops 6, players can purchase as many perks as they want, which removes this decision making entirely. The 4 perk limit created tension and strategy by limiting how much power players could have at one time. Earning a free perk from Monkey Rounds or an Easter egg felt rewarding because it lifted that limitation once you earned it. It's not even the Wonder Fizz's fault. The map that introduced the Wonder Fizz, Origins, used the perk limit as part of the design. Extra perk slots had to be earned through progression and exploration. Dig 30 dig sites with the shovel and you get the golden shovel. From then on, when you get a zombie blood, sprint around the maps, look for a red dig site to dig up an extra perk slot. Do that 4 times and you can get all 8 perks in the map via the Wonder Fizz. With no limits, perks feel less valuable on BO6. I feel like the hard limit would be so good with Black Ops 6's augment system. Maybe the default PhD isn't something you'd want in your 4 slots, but after you upgrade it, it could outshine anything else you could put in that last slot. I will say the lack of perk limit is better than Cold War because Treyarch made sure you have to wait until round 25 for the Wonder Fizz to spawn. But is reaching round 25 really earning all the perks in this game? I think most players would agree that the first 30 rounds of Black Ops 6 Zombies are some of the easiest first 30 of any CoD Zombies game, Treyarch or not. In BO6, players can create a class with a customized weapon, a melee weapon, a lethal, a tactical, a field upgrade, and a gobblegum stack. Compare this to classic Zombies where you spawn in with only a pistol, a knife, and some frags. The lack of choice in classic Zombies wasn't just a limitation, but an intentional choice as part of great game design that made classic Zombies feel so rewarding. Classic Zombies forced you to work for weapons, perks, equipment, and anything beyond that, but in Black Ops 6, the only thing you have to work for are perks and Pack-a-Punch. Since Cold War, resource management has become less and less significant in Zombies, in some regards. One of the most impactful things introduced in Cold War Zombies was the ability to buy ammo for any weapon via the ammo crates scattered generously across every map. To most people, it might seem like a good addition because who doesn't want access to more ammo when you need it? But that kind of convenience is completely removing one of the most intense and rewarding aspects of Zombies, that being scarcity. Having an ammo crate always a few steps away leads to a loss of strategy or real stakes when you start to get up in rounds. If I could just purchase ammo every round for the map's wonder weapon or the most powerful loadout gun I have complete control over the game in a way that players have never had. Even in the easiest of classic Zombies maps, you almost always had to have wall weapons in addition to the wonder weapons so that you could purchase ammo. Freedom of choice and power is generally a good thing in gaming, but in a horror survival, that kind of freedom just takes you out of the moment. All the way back in Call of Duty World at War, Treyarch wanted to add something similar to the ammo crate to Zombies, and they almost went through with it. Ammo-matic was a cut perk that was discovered in the game files of World at War. All that we know about the machine was revealed through its texture and in-game quotes. It was a perk machine that would have gave the player a max ammo upon purchasing, but ultimately Treyarch felt like Ammo-matic didn't fit the core gameplay loop, remove tension, and one of the key gameplay challenges. If they intend on keeping ammo crates, which I'm sure they do, they should look at Ammo-matic for inspiration. Max ammo is kinda crazy, but what I mean is that there should be only one location on the map for the ammo buy. I really think one of the main reasons ammo crates are so bad is because they're everywhere. I realized I almost completely forgot about armor. Dude, armor is so stupid in Zombies. I like to believe I speak for a lot of the Zombies community when I say keep armor in Warzone. We don't want it. But I thought you said resource management is important to Zombies. Isn't armor resource? No! Armor maintenance in BO6 is just that. Maintenance. In classic Zombies, resource management involved trade-offs. Maybe you'll feed your gambling addiction at the mystery box and try to get a weapon at the beginning of the game, but lose thousands of points in the process. Maybe you'll get quick revive in a co-op game because your friends suck, but shoot, now you can't get stamina. Armor lacks any sort of strategic depth. You do have to max it out to be able to take the ridiculous amount of hits it takes to go down. The only thing you have to do for this is to purchase level 2 or level 3 armor and keep holding Y or triangle whenever you automatically pick it up. Once you have it, it's just practically passive damage mitigation. You know what's not passive but has a lot of the same functions as armor? The zombie shield. I won't pretend like the zombie shield was universally loved, but it was better than armor because it wasn't passive. You had to go out into the map, find the parts, and build it, but even then, the durability was limited. Once you ran out, you had to go all the way back to the shield location to pick another one up. The removal of strategic resource management, meaningful choices, and challenging progression, along with an increasingly present artificial difficulty, has made the game more accessible, but less like what made Zombies unique and fun in the first place. These changes are a fundamental shift in the game's philosophy, so the question arises, what caused this transformation? In my video Call of Duty Doesn't Need You, I talked about how over time Activision got less and less trustworthy of so-called diehard fans of the franchise. When a game was bad or other games were more popular, Call of Duty took a backseat and player numbers plummeted. In CoD's multiplayer, there's been an increasing focus on player retention and less pandering to diehard fans. You may notice that diehards are the ones that will complain on Twitter and make 30-minute YouTube videos about why the newest CoD is the worst one, and how they don't make them like they used to. You might also agree with them. It's the new fans that Activision has shifted their focus to. Since about Modern Warfare 2019, this shift is seen in multiplayer with the EOMM systems, or Engagement Optimized Matchmaking, as well as the live service model that now bleeds into all of Call of Duty's modes. In World at War and Black Ops 1, Zombies was viewed as a bonus game mode. The expectations for it from the players and from Activision were it to be just a fun bonus alongside the core CoD experience of campaign and multiplayer. Now that Zombies is no longer a bonus and is now seen as one of the big 3 game modes of Call of Duty, Activision is doing everything they can to achieve all the same things they set out to do with CoD's multiplayer. Hook a brand new player with the free-to-play Warzone and use SBMM to protect them so they have the most possible fun a new player can have when they play bots. Ooh, what's this? The brand new Call of Duty? You can buy this now for $70 or pay a monthly subscription to our parent company's parent company to play it for free. Once the new player takes the bait, they might want to take a look at this weird Zombies mode they heard about. Hey, I recognize this HUD. Oh man, I went down. Cool, I have self-revive. Okay, so when I take damage, I need to replate, like Warzone. Got it. Darn it. Wow, I leveled up across every game mode? There's a camo grind? Maybe I could have survived longer if I just leveled up every single augment in the game and had a meta class. That, my friends, is what Activision and Call of Duty wants to happen. New player hooked, money paid to us, player retention achieved. This is the database business model that Activision and Call of Duty thrive on, and unfortunately it's made its way to Zombies. Beyond the structural and surface level visual changes, BO6 Zombies has more subtle techniques to keep players engaged. If you haven't played Zombies in a long time and come to play Black Ops 6, you might be surprised at all the visual elements on the screen. It's a great thing that the HUD is so configurable because by default, the game is saturated with damage numbers popping up, elimination scores flashing on the screen, and medals being awarded for stuff that doesn't matter in Zombies. Why do I care that I got a multi-kill? It's Zombies. They didn't make the game look this ugly by accident. All of these visuals were carefully perfected to stimulate your brain's reward system. App and game designers used what's known as compulsion loops, cycles of anticipation, action, and reward that trigger dopamine release in the brain. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and motivation, reinforcing behaviors that lead to its release. In the context of Zombies, every on-screen number, every medal that pops up with a cool sound, and every level up provides an immediate positive reinforcement. There's not much you can do on Zombies to not start that compulsion loop. Even if you're not doing anything, you see the zombie health bars, which is the trigger for a compulsion loop. Start attacking and get bombarded with visual and auditory stimuli. Kill the zombie and congratulations, you've completed the compulsion loop and you're ready to start again. Of course, compulsion loops were always in video games, but BO6 Zombies feels like we've gone full-blown TikTok. But they knew what they were doing. The constant stimuli works. Hell, I'm aware of it, and it's not going to stop me from hopping back on once I'm done making this video. While the design choices are effective for retention, they further distance zombies from its roots. It's definitely not a survival horror game anymore. Terminus looks sick and gritty, but the design of the game along with the constant positive stimuli makes me feel less like I'm playing a horror survival and more like I'm playing an action shooter arcade game. That's not too far from CoD Zombies, but the distance they've taken is enough. This whole shift aligns with Activision's strategies, but is classic Zombies as many of us knew it gone? Yeah, at this point I think the answer to that is pretty obvious. If you love a classic Call of Duty Zombies and you want to experience it at its best, the best thing you can do is play World at War and the first 3 Black Ops games. The real question that we need to ask is, what does zombies look like moving forward? Activision and Treyarch have completely evolved the mode to cater to modern gaming trends for better or for worse. That's where we are now. If you've been in the community since the release of Black Ops 1, or even since Nocturne Tone released in 2008, it's not really for you, but Activision would definitely welcome you into its player base. Black Ops 6 is meant for a new generation of players, and it has nothing to do with age. In 2024, gamers generally expect instant rewards, streamlined progression, and endless grindable content. With 4 years of development time, Black Ops 6 offers all of this and more to help satisfy our little monkey brains over and over again. Don't get me wrong though, it's good. Just because I don't think it's classic Zombies doesn't mean it's not a fun, polished mode that succeeds in bringing new players into the fold. It's flashy, rewarding, and for a lot of people that's enough. All this video really functioned to do was showcase how well the game was designed in the golden age of CoD Zombies, and that really Treyarch could benefit from looking to their past to inform their future. There's a balance to be struck between accessibility and depth, between action and survival, between pleasing new players and respecting old ones. To be honest, I'm just gonna keep playing Black Ops 6. I'll enjoy what it gets right, maybe tweak my HUD to make it look a little more like classic Zombies. It scratches the itch for me in a way Cold War and everything since hasn't. As I write this conclusion, Call of Duty released a statement stating that Black Ops 6 is the biggest Call of Duty ever. BO6 was number 1 in total players, number 1 in hours played, and number 1 in total matches played out of any Call of Duty ever in its first 30 days. So what do I know? Bitter classic Zombies players like myself can't seem to get over how great something like Black Ops 3 was. It was great, and for the dedicated Zombies community, it was something we'll never see again. But for a lot of World at War, BO1, or even BO2 players, Black Ops 3 Zombies was far removed from what they liked about zombies. You should never embrace mediocrity, but you should respect evolution, especially if it's something you enjoy. Something I had to ask myself after I pulled 1,400 of you on BO6 Zombies was if I was the problem. Maybe that's the case, maybe it isn't. Zombies has evolved with every game in the franchise, and with a few exceptions, we just have to accept that evolution.